Hello everyone, welcome back again to my class. It's been a long time since the last time I have recorded my explanation. So today we are going to have the passive voice. Perhaps some of you are already familiar with this kind of passive voice. Yeah, the passive voice is the vice versa of the active voice. And then perhaps we have learned this when you were in the senior high school. But so today I'm going to just have the very fast, brief explanations about the passive voice. Okay, let me start with the tenses firstly, because the passive voice is also related to the tenses, just the same like the active voice. Okay, I have already explained to you about the tenses, everyone. There are three kinds of the tenses, three main divisions of the tenses that I have already explained to you: the present, past, and the future. And each of them has their own branches, the simple, continuous, perfect, and also perfect continuous. So there will be 12 different kinds of tenses in active voice. I have already explained to you. And today, in the passive voice, there will be also 12 different kinds of passive voice. So perhaps, so you need to really focus in this material, everyone. Okay, let me go with the example, the definitions. I mean, so the passive voice, it occurs when the subject becomes the object, and the object becomes the subject. Okay. So if you want to change the object in your sentence, change the object into the subject, and either way the subject into the object, you will need to have the passive voice. Okay, this is the formula of the active voice, everyone. The subject plus verb, and then plus the object. And when it comes to passive voice, the object becomes the subject, and then the subject becomes the object, and you need to add them with the be and the verb 3. Okay, what are the be? This is the be. Is, am, are, was, were, modal plus be, have, has, had, and also plus been or being. They are all depends on the tenses. Okay, I have already told you that passive voice is also related with the tenses. Okay, the most important part in passive voice is that you need to have the verb 3. Every passive voice should have the verb 3. And then the verb 3 should be combined with the be. Okay, and these are the be. That is the main important point in the passive voice. Okay, but the structure of subject and object stays the same. Maksudnya seperti ini. Even though I said to you that the subject becomes the object and then the object becomes the subject, but in literal category, literal position of in the formula should be the same. Namanya juga subjek, subjek harus di depan. Walaupun it is an object, walaupun dia adalah objek, but literal formulanya, rumus literalnya adalah sebuah subjek. Objek ini adalah sebuah subjek, and the object this should be the subject which is put at the back should be called as the object. Okay, hanya secara kategori aja dipindah, but the positions of them in the formula should be the same. Okay, so the formula should be like this: subject plus be plus verb 3 plus object. Okay, next. Passive voice is usually in the form of transitive sentence. Yeah, because you need to have the exchange between object and the subject, subject to the object. So the sentence in the passive voice should be transitive sentence. Transitive sentence is the sentence which should have the object. Harus ada objeknya. Okay. Next, let me go with the reminder before we go to each of the formula of the sentence. Perhaps you are familiar, remember with the auxiliary. Auxiliary is do, does, did, has, have, had, and then modal, and also be. So the be that you are seeing in this one is also the modal auxiliary. Okay, every tenses must have the auxiliary. Only sometimes in simple tense declarative it is not seen. Setiap tenses should have the auxiliary. Okay, only in declarative sentence and only in simple tenses it is not seen. It has, but it is just not seen. So for example, like this one, I love you is the same like I do love you. When it comes to negative, do is it. Okay, do you love me? I do not love you. Right. Now let's go to the formula of the passive voice in each sentence, in each tenses, everyone. Okay, let me start with the simple present. The active voice of the formula of the active voice in the simple present is subject plus verb 1 plus object. Okay, please do remember yourself. This is the formula of declarative. Kalau untuk negatifnya, mungkin you can go back to the tenses materials in the third meeting. Okay, this is the example. I love you. Kalau jadi she loves you. He loves you. Okay, and when it comes to the passive voice, this one. Okay, subject plus is mr, so the be in the simple present is mr. Kemudian added with the verb 3 and then the object, and then it is this example. You are loved by me. You as the subject, are as the be, loved as the verb 3, by me as the object. Perhaps you want to know why it is changed into me, dari I ke me, because I is the subjective pronoun, and then me is the objective pronoun. Okay, so you may go back to the pronoun materials. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Right. Let's go with the present continuous, everyone. When it comes to the continuous, remember, every continuous should have the verb in. Here we go. Okay, every continuous active, remember. Okay, and then you have another be di sini, but remember, we are still talking about the active voice of the present continuous. So this formula is subject plus SMR plus verb A plus object. And then this is the example. I am loving you. When it comes to she is loving you. They are loving you. He is loving you. Okay, but when it comes to the passive voice, here we go. Subject, kemudian is MR, so you need to differentiate between the active voice and the passive voice in the continuous. Dua-duanya, both of them still use SMR. Okay, but the difference between active voice and then passive voice is that the passive voice use being. Okay, and then it is added with verb 3. Why we have being di sini? Because it should be the representative of the continuous. Karena saya sudah bilang bahwa every continuous should have the verb ing. Pengganti dari verb ing di passive continuous adalah being. Okay? Ya, pohon. It is a tree. You want to take it? Okay. Right. And then you are being loved by me. You is the subject. Are is the the auxiliary atau be-nya. Being is the representative of the continuous, and then love is verb 3, and then by me is the object. Okay, I'm going to the present perfect, everyone. Remember, kalau tadi continuous adalah verb ing, kalau perfect is the verb 3. Should every perfect, apapun itu, present, past, atau future, selalu ada verb 3 di sini. Okay, you need to differentiate between perfect passive and perfect active. Kalau di active present harus ada has sama have. Kemudian you can go through to the verb 3. Okay, for example this one. I have loved for you for 3 years. Kalau pakai she, jadi she has loved you for 3 years. They have loved you for 3 years. And then I as the subject, have as the auxiliary, loved is the verb 3, you is the object, and then for 3 years is the adverb of time. Perhaps you still remember that the usual adverb of time in present perfect itu ada for, ada since, ada up to now. There are a lot of kinds of adverb of time in present perfect. And when it comes to the passive voice, ada ini. She plus has or have plus been plus verb 3. Okay, perhaps you want to know there is a word been di sini. Okay, kalau di continuous ada being, kalau di perfect ada been. Sama semua. Every continuous, every perfect itu pasti ada being atau pada been di situ. Why di situ ada been? Karena been itu representative dari perfect. For you to know, been is the verb 3 of be. Be, been, been. Okay, so this is been is the representative of the perfect. Okay, and then add it with verb 3. Okay, and then you have the example di sini. You have been loved by me for 3 years. You is the subject, have as the auxiliary, been is the representative of perfect, love is the verb 3, by me is the object, and then for 3 years is the adverb of time. Right. And this is the last time. This is the present perfect continuous, everyone. Because you have both perfect and continuous, so it means you need to have both of them. Dua-duanya harus ada di dalam passive voice, been sama being. Tapi kalau di continuous ya hanya perlu been saja. Oke, so has, have ya adalah auxiliary untuk perfect. Been adalah representative untuk perfect ya. So, ya betul. Kemudian verb ing is the continuous. Okay, this is the example of present perfect continuous in active voice. I have been loving you since the last years. Okay, she has been loving you since last year. They have been loving you since last year. And this is the passive voice, everyone. Subject plus have, has, and then you have been, and then you have being. Been, has, have as the representative of perfect. The auxiliary of perfect. Kemudian been is the representative of perfect, being is the representative atau perwakilannya dari continuous, and then verb 3 is the passive form. Okay, this is the examples of the present perfect continuous. You have been being loved by me since last year. She has been being loved by me since last year. Right. Perhaps the rest of the tenses will be much more the same, ya, hanya bedanya di auxiliary-nya aja. Verb 3-nya tetap dipakai, kemudian be-nya juga tetap dipakai, being-nya juga sama, they stay the same. Okay, they are still used in all tenses. Okay, because I am running out the time, hampir 15 menit. So let me go with this one aja. The rest of the tenses will be read by you aja. And then this is the things that you need to remember. In active voice, when it comes to the continuous, you need to have auxiliary, kemudian verb ing. Okay, auxiliary dari continuous ada is, am, are, was, were, itu semuanya adalah auxiliary dari verb ing. Kemudian perfect, you need to have the auxiliary, ada verb 3. The auxiliary of the perfect is has, have, sama had. Depends on the time-nya. Okay, perfect continuous ada auxiliary, kemudian been, kemudian verb ing. If you have asked me, Miss, why do we have verb ing in present perfect continuous? Kenapa dipakainya kalau present perfect continuous adalah verb ing? Because you need to see the last title of the tenses. Lihat aja title paling terakhir ya. Kalau di akhirnya ini adalah perfect, so you need to have verb 3. Kalau di akhir ada continuous, you need to have verb ing. Okay, remember every verb ing should be should be combined with the be. Be-nya dari perfect continuous adalah been. Right, then when it comes to the passive voice, continuous-nya hanya perlu ditambahkan kata being sebagai representatif dari continuous. Kemudian baru ditambahkan verb 3. As you can see that every continuous, perfect sama perfect continuous and passive voice semuanya memakai verb 3. Because that is the most important part in the passive voice. Setiap passive voice should have the verb 3. Only different in auxiliary-nya aja. Okay, when it comes to the perfect, auxiliary-nya tetap sama as have had. Kemudian ada been, kemudian ada verb 3. Kalau di perfect continuous, auxiliary ada has, have, had, kemudian ada been, kemudian added with being, kemudian with verb 3. Okay, before I close this explanation, let me go with the practice. Everyone. Tunggu sebentar. Okay, so in your practice, you need to make a sentence. You need to break down one sentence. This is the sentence that you have to break down. A mom bears a baby. Okay, this one sentence should be break down by you by its passive sentences based on the 12 tenses. Okay, kemudian because there are 12 tenses in this passive voice, so you need to break it down into 12 sentences with the same sentence. Ini dia, a mom bears a baby. For your information, about a mom bears a baby is a simple present. A mom-nya adalah subject, bears-nya adalah verb 1, a baby is the object. Okay, so and then beside making of a 12 sentences, you need to also break them down into declarative, negative, and also interrogative. Sorry, it is not seen. Oke, sudah. Right. Setelah dibikin itu, 12 tenses of passive voice, you need to also break them down into positive, negative, sama interrogative sentences. So all of them there will be 36 items. Kalau kamu punya pertanyaan, if you have questions, how do we make negative and interrogative? Just the same like in active voice, yaitu put the word, kalau negative, put the word not after the auxiliary. Kalau interrogative, put the auxiliary firstly before the subject. Just the same, sama aja. Hanya bedanya, you need to have verb 3 in all of the sentences. Okay, and then the last one adalah try to add some adverbs of time. Adverb of time, yeah, and every tenses should have different adverb of time. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening to my explanations of passive voice. See you in the next meeting, in the next material. And then have a nice practice, everyone, and see you next time.